Valtteri Bottas, why are you so bad? You have quite good pace, but you never win a race. I'm waiting for you to just turn up so I can be happy. Why do you not just win the championship? I'm going to put this down now. Hello everybody, welcome back to the internet's best reactions. Today we are talking about the Tuscan Grand Prix, our debut around Mugello. And the way that I would sum this race up was one of the craziest, most boring races I think I've ever watched. Don't know why, it makes sense in my head. Does it make sense in yours? Who cares? Let's get into your reactions. Right, let's begin at the very beginning, but the beginning isn't actually kind of the beginning, or doesn't feel like the beginning, because there were three beginnings. So the first beginning, the first race. Let's start with @name Rizvi. Max's engineers fixed the car. Max. Well, obviously Max had problems on the grid, all sorts of stuff being changed in the car, and they were potentially not going to start the race. Then they started the race. Max got an absolute belter of a start. Looked like he was potentially going to be past Hamilton into turn one, and then he had no power. Nothing towards turn one. No, to be fair, I didn't even notice. I thought Max had just slotted into P3. Then we came round turn one, Max wasn't there. Then we see a replay and he's in the gravel. Max, probably, hypothetically speaking, could have won that race. If we're looking at the differential between Alex Albon and Max Verstappen's pace, and Alex was not far off at the end, what could have been, eh? Shoulda, woulda, coulda. @Camalario, hearing Martin Brundle say, two-stop strategy. Well, that went out the window, didn't it? It wasn't a normal two-stop strategy, was it? We had stops in red flags, we had another red flag, another stop during the race. Carnage! Couldn't keep up. There was almost too many red flags, don't you think? I think one red flag's good enough. I like the fact that it felt like 3 races in one day, but I'm also sad that Hamilton got another chance to beat Bottas. He got ahead. We believed. We thought, finally, we have a championship fight on our hands. Hamilton's brakes, they were smoking, weren't they? Was he going to retire? No! He was going to swoop round the outside of Bottas and be later on the brakes than him. That was later on. That was after the first red flag. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I can't remember anymore. But let's go back to the first start. @Oxider Brock, Bottas leading into turn one. I know. I was ready for a fight. Everyone was ready for a fight. And he actually genuinely had decent pace this week. He was top in Q1 and Q2, but not Q3. Top in P1, P2 and P3, but not top in the race. Should have probably put practice first, but you get what I mean. Bottas was quick, but didn't convert once again. Now, obviously, before the end of lap one, we had the crash. We had Sainz spinning round, we had Vettel losing his front wing, we had all sorts of carnage, Verstappen in the gravel, Grosjean being hit, all sorts of stuff. @Pumbajenk. This is obviously referring to when Bottas goes to restart the race. Bottas holding up everyone until the last minute of the safety car restart. You know what?
Who has won Tweet of the Week?
Pumbajenk. That's Tweet of the Week. Yeah, just gonna sprinkle that in. Pumbajenk. Well done. Tweet of the Week. He did nothing wrong. Anyone that thinks Bottas did something wrong, it's in the rules. Look it up. He's allowed to maintain a speed, weave so that he has tyre temperature. He didn't change any sort of speed. If anything, looking back, George Russell's onboard looked a little bit sus. The fact that he kind of was so far back, then bolted, then braked, then bolted. I know that there's 12 drivers, so there was lots of people had their part to play, but I don't know. George's looked a little bit like he had gone really quickly, and I can understand why the guys behind thought they'd gone. At this point, @Bark the Wire comes in with, the moment you realise this race could be first podium for Albon, first points for Russell. One of them came true at least. The stars literally aligned for Alex Albon. He probably wouldn't have got there had it not been for all of those chaotic moments. But that's the race. What am I to say? Who knows where Alex Albon would have been? But he had a dreadful restart in the end. I'm kind of going all over the place in terms of chronological order. Sorry, but can you blame me? So after the massive crash which took out, I think, 4 or 5 competitors at the back of the field, which, again, I'm not blaming anybody. I don't think it is George Russell's fault, but I don't think he helped the situation by bolting and then braking. Everyone was having a mad one. Grosjean was saying, are you trying to kill us? I mean, Grosjean coming in with stuff like that when he's the weaver, just the weaver. Oh, sorry, mate. Oh, sorry, I'm just defending. Oh, you're alongside me. Oh, no. Come on, Grosjean, double standards, mate. At Brown_Bear7, waiting for a racing lap at Mugello. It's just like, we're ready. We're ready for a race now. We've got the restart. Oh, it's a red flag. What do you think of Mugello? Quick little break of Internet's Best Reactions. I want your comment right now. Right now, what do you think of Mugello? Would you like to see it back again? Me personally, could take it or leave it. It's a cool track in qualifying, quite cool to see them absolutely stonk it round there. Was nice the fact that it was a new track, but didn't blow me away. At VSR_Dr. Alex, this race is literally drive to survive. It is. It was. It did. I agree. It was pretty much, what was it, 12 finishes at the end? And Russell still didn't score points. He was going to finish P9. Vettel, even at the end of the race, was like, he did everything right. He was driving a great race. I could see what he was doing. Very odd, by the way. I think I tweeted during the race, imagine you're in a coma from last year, maybe like around the sort of time that Charles Leclerc won at Monza. Coma. Wakes up. Vettel and Russell fighting for 10th place. On pure merit. Now, during a red flag, we saw it last week. We see it again this time. At Ange31oo, I'm going to say Angelou. Hamilton at every red flag. Loves that scooter, doesn't he? And this time I'm not going to ski. It's a scooter, isn't it? He might pop to the shops, for all I know, Hamilton. How quick he is on that scooter. He could actually challenge Ferrari down the straights. Now, we are concentrating on the first restart now, I think. Maybe. After the first red flag. The second red flag. Which red flag was it that Bottas overtook Hamilton? It was the first red flag, wasn't it? Definitely was. Yeah. At Tom Brown 1907, Hamilton overtaking Bottas on the restart. Everyone. So this is the second restart we're talking about. Is anyone else as confused as me? Because that was 3 races. Genuinely. No, it was the first restart, wasn't it? It was the first restart. Hamilton's brakes on fire. You could see the smoke. We're like, Hamilton's out. This is it. Bottas is going to win. Potentially he's going to get jumped by a few more people, but no. No, he's just going to swoop round the outside of Bottas with brakes on fire, and Bottas is not even going to try. At JC Charman, Valtteri to Lewis at the restart. I agree. It felt like the outside line was definitely the best way through turn 1, and anyone that really defended the inside line, everyone just swooped round. So I don't know if in hindsight Bottas would have maybe just stayed on the racing line and tried to swoop. I think he'd probably lost the position anyway because he was never going to brake as late as Hamilton. Can you see in my face that I just want Bottas to do better in racecraft? But he has 99 awareness apparently. 99 awareness of what? That he's number 2 driver? At Suzuki C, Lewis on the restart. That's how much smoke there was. And he still overtook Bottas. Just won a championship fight. Bring back Nico Rosberg. Never thought I would say that. Always thought that someone else could swoop into the team. When I saw Valtteri Bottas in that Williams pounding in results, we thought, yeah, Bottas is going to be decent. Nope. Let's talk a little bit about Charles Leclerc. What an amazing start he had at the beginning of the race. Pumping his way all the way up to P3, sitting there pretty nicely, it has to be said, until his tyres kind of ran out. I think around lap 18 his soft tyres started to degrade, and then everybody else just started catching him on the straights. At D. Charville, people passing Charles Leclerc be like. That Ferrari is so slow. I feel like Charles Leclerc has been briefed not to say anything about straight line speed now, because he's like, my tyres have gone, I don't have the performance in the car. It's never about straight line speed anymore, when it was clear that that was where he was getting mugged. The only overtakes I think he made were on Ferrari-engined cars. Congratulations, by the way, Ferrari, 1,000 races. At Marcel Kiefer_, Mugello be like. It's another Fall Guys meme. This was almost tweet of the week, Marcel, but it wasn't tweet of the week because we've already had Fall Guys banter in Internet's Best Reactions, but it was very good. Almost tweet of the week, congratulations. That's gonna hurt, isn't it? I'm sorry. Oh, you've got a Fanatec wheel, you're an F1 esports driver, you'll be fine. At Dennis Castrati. What is it with Ferrari and asking the opinion of their drivers? All the time. They literally have an entire strategy team and they're like, so Leclerc, how do you feel about strategy plan Z? Leclerc's like, sure, sounds great. Why is Leclerc having to be the one to be like, we need to make a quick decision because I'm either going to burn up my tyres, I'm going to have to make my tyres go longer. Why have they not made this decision before the start of the race? I know that the race evolves. The race changes with every turn. But Ferrari need to make a decision. You don't hear it from everyone else. So Lewis, we're thinking of about 7 or 8 different strategies. Which one do you fancy? A little bit of plan J? Plan L? No, you don't L. Plan W? At Dan Noronha91, Crofty and Brundle hearing Lando could be doing an undercut. That was very odd, wasn't it? It was just out of nowhere, we just heard Lando on the radio a bit about undercut. And then Crofty was like, yeah! Yes! Martin Brundle even got in on it, I think, as well. And Lando said, yay. It was a very odd sort of 3 or 4 seconds, that was. Lando got past Perez in the end, so I guess we all won. Apart from Perez. At McPalms, McLaren, we want to undercut Perez. Lando. I mean, that is almost tweet of the week. I'm sorry, Matt Palmer. You were 2 away. I thought I'd kind of walked into an alternate reality when we saw the little boop boop Bottas team radio, expecting, you know, oh, I'm number 2 driver, thanks for the opportunity at Mercedes, love finishing behind Lewis. No. At Resident Memer XD, Bottas getting punchy on the radio over tyre choice. Give me the opposite to Lewis. I'm ready. Bring it. Let's go. 1 lap later, my tyres are gone, I need to come in, I'm sorry, I've got vibrations. He lost like 5 seconds in 1 lap, I think, to Lewis because of his broken tyre that it just happened. I reckon Mercedes just went, Bottas is being sassy, deflate tyre. At Gabo LC, Bottas asking for different tyres than Hamilton, Mercedes giving both drivers hard tyres. I don't know what other tyre Bottas could have possibly gone on to, considering the softs were never going to last that long. The mediums he'd already been on, and the hards are what Hamilton was going for. Actually, no, he had started on softs. Maybe he didn't have fresh mediums. I think that's more to the point. He didn't have fresh mediums, so he had to go on the hards. Either way, Mercedes just ignored him and went, you're both going on hards, sorry. I think we were all on board with this one. At Myth Sith Yoda, hoping George Russell gets his first championship point. I think everybody was on board with that bandwagon. Great pace, challenging the Ferraris, quicker than Vettel until the restart, and then couldn't really keep up with him after a pretty poor restart. But Tommy made a good point on the WTF1 podcast, where George is becoming that nearly man. He hasn't scored a point yet. Robert Kubica did. Remember Germany, when George was in that position, made the mistake, Kubica went and got it. Now, I'm not saying that George is becoming this person that will never score a point, because I feel like he will most likely be a world champion one day, be fighting Leclerc and Norris for the title. He'll be fine. He's just looking at the Mercedes seat going, it doesn't really matter what I do right now, as long as I out-qualify my teammate every single time. By the way, that was sensational, wasn't it? Literally was in the gravel and still beat Latifi. At Monahan Fan 23, FIA these past 2 weeks. I love Steve Harvey as well, great meme. Well done, Greg. It's true. 2 red flags, and we hadn't had 1 red flag in 3 years. At Mo_C137, choosing between Ricciardo and Albon for P3. It was difficult, wasn't it? On one hand, you have Ricciardo, the tattoo for Cyril Abiteboul, and then you have Albon, who very much did deserve a podium at this point in his career after the positions that he's been in. For me, I definitely wanted Albon to score that podium because he'd never been on before. Ricciardo, he's a race winner. Podiums, left, right and centre when he was with Red Bull. Give Albon a chance, come on. SGibson_20, the remaining 12 cars for 13 laps after a double red flag. There wasn't any more chaos though, was there, after that? Because there were so little cars, we thought maybe Mugello would be difficult for traffic. It wasn't the case, it was just a little shootout, wasn't it? We start again, the 3rd race, if my brain is computing correctly, and we thought, Bottas, finally, you wanted a safety car. This is your chance, my friend. Nope, Ricciardo jumps him, and actually, I think if Bottas hadn't been jumped, he could have actually put pressure on Hamilton. It looked like Bottas had more pace than Hamilton at the end of that race, but instead Ricciardo, as Ricciardo does, gets a great start, puts himself into P2, couldn't defend it, and then he had to try and defend from Alex Albon, which he couldn't do either. Alex Albon, great drive, my friend. I genuinely hope that Alex can now take this momentum and improve. Not take it to max, I don't think that's ever going to happen, but be a good number 2. 2 3/10 off, I'll accept. At Flomo37, seeing Russell drop out of the points after restart 2. Sad, wasn't it? He will get a point. Mark my words. I've jinxed him now. He's never going to get a point. At Wahyuadebra. Definitely butchered that. Seeing Ricciardo in P4 but realising Albon got his first podium. Yeah. I think that sums it up perfectly. A little bit of but mostly yay. There were lots of videos on social media of people crying and being joyful about Alex Albon getting a podium. It was lovely. At that beardy gamer, everyone after the highs and lows of the Tuscan Grand Prix. Yeah. It wasn't a banger though. I will not have people say it was a 9 or 10 out of 10 race. It wasn't. It was just crashes, which we haven't really seen in recent times. It hasn't been an eventful race because of loads of DNFs. I don't remember the last time we had that many. It's usually, you know, a good race or rain. This was a very different race. At Tay Farak, Albon getting his first podium. Everyone liked that. Sums it up beautifully. I think that, yeah, beautiful, wonderful. My favourite Instagram post, fail Mueller 1. Max and Gasly crash out. 2 red flags and 3 standing starts. Ricciardo driver of the day. Albon podium. Yeah, it's a good escalation of meme there. Love it. Quick mention to Kimi Raikkonen, there's no tweet, just a bit of love. I just want to give Kimi a bit of love. I know that he had that little bit of a moment where he came into the pits and got a 5-second penalty, but he beat, on track, both Ferraris again. In a Ferrari-powered car, Kimi is a genius. 40 years is the new 20. Social Media Team Championship time now, let's see. And it wasn't actually the best of weeks this week. Don't know why, maybe because of the chaos. Social media managers didn't really know what to say. Either way, your top 3, let's get into it. In third position we have the reigning champions BWT Racing Point Formula 1 team. The checkered flag falls on the Tuscan Grand Prix. It's done. Every week without fail. I'm not biased, they are just fantastic on social media. In second position we have Haas F1 team. Now of course, if Ricciardo got a podium, Cyril Abiteboul would have had to get a tattoo. And that's exactly what Haas tweeted. And then they did a me. They jinxed it. Sorry, maybe we jinxed this. We won't do it again. And the winners of the Social Media Team Championship for the Tuscan Grand Prix are Mercedes AMG F1. Admit it. Which one of you added this to the pre-quali playlist? High School Musical Breaking Free. It's kind of a bit Mercedes and a bit whoever put it as a fan in there. It wasn't me. I'm a massive fan of High School Musical. I won't even lie. Love it. Sing it all the time. And this deserves 3 points. I don't even care. That's 1 point for BWT Racing Point Formula 1 team, 2 points for Haas F1 team, and 3 points for High School Musical sensations Mercedes AMG F1.
And now it's time for Race Rundown with your host, Matthew Gallagher.
Race rundown time now, and beautifully, wonderfully, the drivers have split it up pretty much in half. This should be easy. The finishers of the Tuscan Grand Prix were Hamilton, Bottas, Albon, Ricciardo, Perez, Norris, Kvyat. Hamilton, Bottas, Ricciardo. That was me. That was a Freudian slip. Hamilton, Bottas, Albon, Ricciardo, Perez, Norris, Kvyat, Leclerc, Raikkonen. Oh, I mean, there's only 12, Matt. There's literally only 12. Get a grip of yourself. Hamilton, Bottas, Albon. Hamilton, Bottas, Albon. Albon got third. Hamilton, Bottas, Albon, Ricciardo, Perez. Hamilton, Bottas, Albon, Ricciardo, Perez, Norris, Kvyat, Leclerc, Raikkonen, Vettel, Russell, Grosjean. There we go. Lovely. Easy. Easy. And the non-finishes were Stroll, Ocon, Latifi, Magnussen, Giovinazzi, Sainz, Verstappen, Gasly. Didn't say Verstappen properly. Stroll, Ocon, Latifi, Magnussen, Giovinazzi. Stroll, Ocon, Latifi, Magnussen, Giovinazzi, Sainz, Verstappen, Gasly. Stroll, Ocon, Latifi, Magnussen, Giovinazzi, Sainz, Verstappen, Gasly. Right, that is it. Thank you so much for watching the internet's best reactions to the Tuscan Grand Prix. Now, the Russian Grand Prix, 2 weeks' time. If you haven't seen my tweet, I'm going to be commentating on F2 and on F1 TV. So if you want to listen to this guy somehow commentating real life stuff, then tune in. If you want to get involved next time, use the hashtag WTF1 on social media and we'll choose the very best ones to be featured next time. Shout out to Fanatec, our sponsors, once again. Love you long time. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the Russian Grand Prix. Maybe Bottas will turn up. It's literally the one that he's good at. So hopefully that will be the one that he wins, maybe, when we get a championship fight. Lovely.
Valtteri Bottas, why are you so bad? I just want a championship fight. Lewis is going to win 7 world titles, and you're just going to sit there and eat your porridge.